Welcome back, everyone, to more Betrayal at Krondor. We have entered into Chapter 2 and just left the small little village of Darkmoor. We're heading east. One step at a time. There was trouble ahead. Unable to pinpoint the source of his anxiety immediately, James motioned for a halt. Be wary, we may have wandered into a trap. Oh, you definitely did. Well, we could try to figure these out, or I could just keep cheating. Let's try to figure them out and cheat. So again, we're going to give the skin of the Durgan. I think you have to push this into... Oh, I just pushed it past. Well, I hate to tell you folks. We made it through. Skin of the Durgan for the win. Yeah. Probably his defense went up. He just got hit in the anus with a fireball. How's your asshole feel, James? Well, I sang my way through, and so my barding went up. Alright, casting went up for Mr. Owen. Now, I saw a chesticle before I was rudely interrupted by this trap. No, I don't see shit. And that's because I'm very far away. Ah, there's two chesticles. Gora, scan the rooms. You can spin, wheel, and twist, but it can turn without moving. But it can... You can spin, wheel, and twist, but it can turn without moving. Ooh, that's a good one. Well, let's see what letters we have here. Spin, wheel, and twist. Let me think about this. Alright, I'm back after much contemplation. This one was a bit difficult, and in fact I found this one out just by screwing around with the letters. And then I had to look it up because I can understand some of these, but all of them don't make sense. So anyways, the answer is milk. So spinning milk. Why would you spin milk? I had to look these up. And I'm going to educate you because I'm sure some of you are just as confounded as I am. So basically you would spin it, and this makes sense, to aerate it, to get the air out. It gives the milk, apparently, it gives it more of a creamy texture if you do that. You'll see people with a gallon of milk, and they'll kind of like shake it around like a giant wine glass. And that's to... it gives it a more pleasant texture and flavor, I guess. So wheel milk doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm thinking maybe because this game was written on a different continent, on the European side of things, that wheel might also mean roll, because here in America we talk about rolling our milk. After introducing the air, you submerge the steam wand and use the steam to spin the milk. This is sometimes called rolling milk. So, yeah, I'm not a big milk steamer myself. You know, I'm not into frothing my milk or any of that. In fact, I don't drink a lot of milk at all, to be honest. I tend to stay away from all dairy except cheese. I am a cheese whore. Anyways, you twisting milk, for me, I just imagine twisting a cow titty, or teat as you will produce milk. And then, of course, if you let milk stand for too long, it'll curdle or turn. So anyways, that was the overly lengthy description on why that riddle made sense. So if I'm going to answer a riddle, I want to understand the meaning. And this one was the first one to really confound me in that sense. Perplex. All right, let's check this motherfucker out. Turd. Before I even read it, no turd. It can pierce the best armor and make swords crumble with a rub. Yet, for all its power, it can't harm a club. This is easy. Rust. Rust can fuck up your sword and your armor, but since a club is made out of wood, it has no such power over thee. Oh, interesting. I'm going to open this again. I don't think we've tried to open one of these twice. Wow, nothing respawned. I would have been very disappointed if it did. I hate little, glitches in games that you can, abuse. It's like, why did they even let that be possible? Because if the option is there, I might use it. I just don't want to. I'd rather the option is never there in the first place. Ooh, we got another little housey here in the distance. Let's check it out. I think I can stand for the turning to be a little bit wider. So we can go here and we can make the turn size medium. Fuck, let's make it large. See what that does. In fact, let's go back to large everything. Oh no, that's too fast. I like the turning, but I like the medium steps better. I mean large turning, let's see. Yeah, it's just going to make things easier, I believe. Incense swirled, striding between the columns of the temple. James made for the heavy wooden doors, which had been sealed against the daylight, and which preserved the privacy of any ceremonies in progress. Pulling a tasseled rope which hung next to the door, he awaited the response of the door warden. Okay, they always say the same thing here, I think. Very good, the man replied. As you described those things to me, doubtless you also experienced... Yeah, it's the I can teleport text. This is a good one to have. As you can see, getting expensive to teleport to these further away areas. But I think at some point I'll be willing to pay that. James Seed. 4 times they had asked one of the temple's golden robe priestesses to send for the high priestess, and 4 times they had been left waiting in the alcoves of the temple's central courtyard. When at last it became apparent that their repeated summons were not going to be answered, James shook his head. We don't have time for this. Let's get going. Okay. Can you burst it? Owen handed over the item. While the priest scurried off with a wooden staff, he looked over the tapestries of the temple's inner sanctum. Several of them looked to be hundreds of years old. The religious themes fray and on threadbare, patched, and humble earnest by weavers far less accomplished than the original makers. I regret that your petition has been refused. Startled, Owen turned to find the priest had returned, a frowish in his face. It may not be blessed, for whatever reason. It has been deemed inappropriate. That's probably because it's not steel. I don't know, but that is fucking rude. No curse upon you, nor has the limbs Kragma mocked you to come soon. Alright, so they cannot cure me. There's nothing to cure. What is this? The fire was cold. Unnerved by the unnatural flame, James decided to explore elsewhere. Okay. Oh yeah, that's much better. The small turning was, it's too easy to get... Holy shit, fuck! Oh, this is not good. Oh, I did not mean to do that. That pussy ran off already? Are you serious? Lay another one down to fucking sleep. God damn it! You guys are getting schwacked by these fuckers. They do damage, man. Even when they're blinded, apparently. I'll kind of get one... That's okay, because my other guys are getting a beating here. I'll take this guy in a goose chase. Alright, he's scared. I don't care, just run off. Fuck. These guys are really hard to hit. Yeah, that's not good. I knew I should have threw down on some healing instead. We'll go ahead and redo this fight. I believe it won't be a problem. I should have threw that protection around him. So yeah, remember, if you guys go down in battle, they are they get that near death condition, and it can be quite a bitch to get them rezzed back up. So let's just retry that. That was me misfiring on a bunch of clicks. Alright. Gorath's going to take a swig of some Fatimor's formula. Gives him plus 10 strength. We've got the red weed brew, which is going to give us... Well, we're going to want to hang on to that, I think. Only got 2 of them. True Sight Tea, I believe that works with the ranged weapons. Yeah, with your crossbows. But I have 6 of these, so let's give James some of them. Jesus, slow down Christ. I have to go back and check out those holes now that I see them. I'm going right to Skyfire, man. Don't ask me why it's slowing down like this all of a sudden. They didn't like that too much. Yeah, I bet you didn't appreciate that, did you? He was alive. We were all alive. Barely alive. I took some of the herbs, which will give us kind of like gradual healing over time. James got messed up pretty bad, and so did Owen. Let's go ahead and quaff a couple potions. Not too many, just a couple each to get things back in order. James has a bunch more health, so give him an extra dose. Some anti-venom. Purple globes fanned out from the delicately spun central vein of glass. Each small grape-like bulb containing enough anti-venom to neutralize the double amount of silverthorn. Thanks to the formula created by Father Nathan of Krondor years previously, the anti-venom had saved the lives of many who had smeared it on their armor before confronting Mordale raiders, or consumed it to heal themselves of the effects of silverthorn. Well, of course we want anti-venom. Gorath struck the metallic device against his knee, cringing as it sang its high-pitched note. "I always dread it when the jongleurs tune their instruments," he said, killing the still ringing note. "It's that pitch. If my hearing were any more sensitive, I think I'd bled from the ears." I have no idea what a pitchfork or pitch tuner does. The tuning fork apparently makes trolls run away. We will not take the poison food. Where'd those holes go? Oh, the campfires? Ah, shit. We're about to make a campfire of our own, folks. The party is hurting, so let's go ahead and take a nice little rest there. And better yet, get a nice little safe ski in. So to the south here is Malik's Crossed. I don't think we want to go south quite yet. We do want to check out this dead-ass body. Shelly time. I'm not sure how that food could be good, but apparently it is. Let's take it. The riddle is: Magic Death Temple Bless Rest. At last you may solve this. So these don't make much sense, but you have to start looking at letters. And if you look at the right side immediately, which is what I did, I see the word chest. And that was right. At last letter, you may solve this. Fairly easy. For a genius! Who's on these fucking potions? I don't know. I am a genius! Oh, fuck it. Jesus. I don't know that we need that many torches. I think we're gonna toss them. Oh no, that's right. We got our emergency bag. Wait a minute. Why haven't I been using this fucking bag? How much shit can I fit into here? I am dumb as shit. I've had this bag the whole time I can cram crap into. I forgot about it. My backup bag. Nobody reminded me, though. That's pretty fucking hilarious. And we can probably sell all kinds of shit from there. Well, that's my hound summoner. Can just keep all of our sellables in there as well. All right, better late than never. That's what I say. Looks like we've got another town coming up here. Mason Moore Camp. Of course we're going to dig that shit up. Just a body. Just a body. Robbing graves, that's what we do. That's what we do. Poor Danny. I don't need all that rope, Danny. You can keep it. There was a black ribbon hanging on the door. James took a step back and scowled, staring at the ribbon as though he were trying to decide on the proper course of action. Why do you look at the house that way? What does that black ribbon mean? The ribbon is a sign of sickness. It's essentially a warning signal to others to keep away, and yet it seems someone has recently gone through this house, looking for something, perhaps. Should we go in and have a look around? Of course. There was a smell of death in the air. Entering the house, it became obvious that someone had indeed conducted a fairly thorough search. Seeing nothing of interest, James turned to leave. "Come on, let's get out of here. It may be too late. He stopped mid-sentence as his eyes fell on a discolored floorboard in the corner of the room. Crossing the small house in 3 giant strides, he carefully used the tip of his sword to pry the board up. Then he slipped his fingers under and gave it a hard tug. The board came free with a splintering crack. James slowly reached down into the dark rectangular hole and excitedly pulled out a small bag. Spinning the shiny contents of the bag on the floor, he began to count. 34 gold sovereigns, he said. Probably the life savings of the unfortunate family that lived here. We will have need of this money, but I'll be sure to give a charitable donation of equal size to Father Tully, should we ever see Krondor again. Now, let's get the fuck out of here. We may be paying for this small windfall with our lives." No one wished to speak about it, seeing the glazed looks in each other's eyes and sickly pallor each had begun to exhibit. It was more than obvious they had fallen prey to a virulent plague. Silently, James hoped they would reach a temple soon before they all died of it. We got plague, bro. Well, that's not worth the money. Reload. All right, we're back. Quick correction. I thought I was putting stuff into an extra bag that we carried around. That's the bag that you leave on the ground. So say I stuff rations here. You can, I guess, take the chance of leaving bags behind and coming and picking them up later, but it leaves the bag there. You can, of course, take your shit back out. But the point is, I got a little jubilant for no reason. The other thing I did was I gave Owen some of the better elven armor. Not sure why I waited so long to do that. I guess I assumed because he was the mage, he couldn't wear it. But yeah, the armor is pretty basic at this. It just goes up different tiers. One is always better than the other. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get our stuff back to top-notchish. Okay, you can trade weapons out like that, but you can't do it with armor. That's interesting. And our weapon craft has gone up. We'll go ahead and leave that this rotten cesspool house alone. We didn't check this one out, though. The barn was musty and dark. Searching with straining eyes and groping hands, Owen suddenly called out, "Over here! I think I found something." Halfway up one of the walls of the structure, a small X had been scratched in the wood, and just below this spot they raised an area of dirt. Together they began to dig, and several feet below the surface uncovered a rotten wooden box. Inside were 20 silver royals in a pouch. They're like, "And now go check out the house. It's perfectly safe." I reloaded and didn't hit that other. Temple. That's okay. We got to backtrack anyways. We're going to go check out Malak's Cross before we get too far away. I forgot, you have to visit the temple if you want to have the teleport, and we want all of them unlocked. So it's right here. We'll go hit it real quick. James studied the small road. Following it with his eyes, he saw the road rise and fall, turning this way and that, as it descended into the distance toward a large town. "Nighthawk's Cross," James said. "Do you think we should go in for supplies?" Nighthawk's Cross was a tumultuous town, grown fat on the prosperity of centuries. Exotic gewgaws bulged in the storefront windows, each mere fraction of the wealth that coursed daily through the busy trading town. Over it all loomed the impressive bulk of the Abbey Ishap, a temple nearly as ancient as the Kingdom of the Isles itself. A man halted them. "Ticket!" he barked through gapped teeth. When James failed to respond quickly enough, he leaned closer and shouted, "Are you deaf? I need your lecture ticket." "What if we don't have a ticket?" James replied. The man smiled an unpleasant smile, hooking his thumb at four extremely well-developed soldiers who looked to be members of Malak's Cross's constabulary. He squinted. "Do you have tickets for this evening's lecture or no?" "No," James said, back into the street. "We don't want any trouble. We'll be leaving now." Okay, we got a house, temple, shop, and the inn. James motioned to the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyebrows arched inquisitively.
Mind the door.
"All right, I've been scald. Hope you ain't coming in for a match. It's already over." "Match? What kind of match?" "You're in the Queen's Row and you can ask that question. A chess match, of course. It was wondrous. Jamie Tiller was defending his title against that snot-nosed prat from the Abbey, Carl Fisher. Jamie opened, moved his queen's pawn to fourth rank. Fisher opened with Abba's gambit. Arrogant. Cud. But Jamie actually maneuvered it into it with his knight. Was thinking that he was going for the queen. But he sacrificed his king's rook and took the priest. It's a brilliant move, but it's left his own queen vulnerable, didn't it? You've got a good head for the game, Signia." "The prince likes to play, but we don't always have a board handy. Once you learn to play in your head, a board almost becomes redundant. I have to admit it's tougher earlier in the game. More pieces to keep track of. It's still fun to watch, though. That's why the Queen's Row is here. Perhaps I can relate to the rest of the game over here, assuming you gents are buying. What can I get you today?" Let's talk about Abbey's Ishap. The Abbey's developing quite a reputation, isn't it? I've heard quite a number of stories. I doubt you heard stories that I've heard about the place. They produce a few fine minds there, eh? But they're also a refuse heap for nobles who just wish to get their sons out from underfoot. The majority of them are runts. And a few aren't. The special ones, they're fine men. They're sap willing. They'll grow into fine dukes and barons and such. The lot of them have become wonderful tacticians. That's what the Abbey specializes in. You keep things that people have lost here. Sometimes if it interests me, or if it seems like they would be coming back for it, why? You've lost some shit here? No, I was just wondering if there was anything interesting you found that you think is unlikely the original owner is going to come back for. If so, I might be interested in taking them off your hands. Probably wouldn't do me any harm to clear out the area beneath the bar. I believe there are probably a few things. Tell you what, I'll sell you the lot of the sight unseen for, say, 50 sovereigns. Deal? Sure, I'm a gambling man. I'll take it all. I'll have to gather them up first. I'll give them to you before you leave, and put the sale against your bill. Sorry, but you piqued my curiosity. What is an pasa? I've seen quite a few variations of chess, but I don't think I've ever heard of that move. It's cashier. One night I was playing this fellow from Durban. I had my game swinging on one particular pawn, and the game was in my favor. So what does he do but move his pawn to the square directly behind mine, then claim to have captured my piece? That's an illegal move. So I said, he tells me to go on, it's the most fundamental move of the game. We argued about it for 3 hours until the student ran from Queen's Road to the Abbey to dig up an old book. And there it was. Back of the text, written in Keshian, the original rules to the game. En passa. Cost me 2 diamonds and very nearly the Queen's Row itself. Needless to say, I don't allow that rule to be played in here anymore. Last fellow that tried to use it on me was a fellow named Navan de Sandur, and I set him straight, though he showed me an incredible movie invented called Sandu's Retreat. Can't quite remember how it worked, though. Isn't there another move like Abar's Gambit, but a little different? Aye, there's an Abar's Turn. That's a brave man's gambit. In the right place, it's about the most powerful structure a man can put out, but in the wrong place, it can cost you dearly. How does it work? I'll not be teaching you that play. If you knew truly how to use it, I have to give up playing chess against you. The very fact that you even know about the move tells me you know the game altogether all too well. With all the trade moving back and forth through here, I imagine you talk to quite a few traders. I talk to my share, mostly the Queen's Row, is a haven for the students from the Abbey. Anything unusual going on that someone making a long trip should know? Bridge out somewhere, bandits attacking? Only thing odd I've heard is recent this Lord Lytton's got a batch of tax collectors stopping folk for what are trying to get in and out of Lytton. Some ridiculous high amount of gold. If folks don't have it, the collectors just direct them the other way and end up splitting their spleens for them. Of course, the merchants around here wouldn't make a pence if they stood for it. They've apparently found some way to sneak around the guards. I'm not so sure you want to play against me. Tell me the stakes and then I'll tell you whether I'm interested or not. Emerald, sure. Forgive me, but I don't seem to have an emerald. Likely. I'm always making that mistake myself. I'll let you off the hook this time. At least you didn't pull that stunt after we played, or I would have suspected you weren't a man of honor. How about the fucking 1,500 sovereigns I have? No, I don't want rations. Whatever you like. Me, I've got dishes to tend to. Thanks again. Perhaps we'll chat later. The man accepted their company. Owen chatted idly with a rough-looking fellow as James looked on, making certain that he was in ebullient mood. The magician didn't slip and give away the true purpose of their travels. So where are you headed? The man asked, describing a large arc with his ale cup. Any place interesting? Actually, we're not headed in any specific direction. James intervened. We're wandering, looking for an employer, treasure to watch, caravan to guard. The man snickered. A caravan to steal from, eh? Freebooters, then. Well, there's not much going on in the kingdoms these days, not in the west. The prince has seen to it. His roads are safe and the vassals happy. For the likes of us, he's taken all the fun out of life. James nodded. You're not the first one to say so. Owen played like a son of a bitch. And then he made 89 sovereigns. The end.
The name is Grand Petruma.
Wherever did you get those clothes, Lyles? Must have snitched them off the marquee somewhere. You're getting a mild bit bolder, aren't you?
I'm afraid you have been mistaken for someone else. My name is James.
James, is it? Of course it is. And I'm not your Grand Petruma either, I take it. You're masquerading again. This isn't like the time you ran out of Balak's Cross for a month begging and chewed up soap, is it? Oh, but you made some fine sovereigns with that act. With all that foam coming from your mouth, a body would think you had creeping mongoose, and they'd pay a pretty coin just to have you away from them. You've always been a wily one, Lyles. Did you punch any bread for me?
Why can't you buy your own bread, you wrinkly bitch?
Who pissed in your pot, eh? You know perfectly well that I haven't nothing since Jack died, unless... What are you doing with an elf, boy? Don't you know they bring bad luck? They're the ones that killed Jack and are stirring up all that trouble in Sethanon. What's going into your head? Have you run mad?
What trouble in Sethanon are you referring to, biatch?
You're really not Lyles, are you then? But you're his mirror image, you are. How could this be unless some kind of fairy evil, isn't it? That's what it is, some kind of fairy magic, and you finally come for me, took Lyles form.
We aren't brothers of the dark path, miss. Please trust us, perhaps I may bear some resemblance to this Lyles character you're talking about, but we're just ordinary folk. I would like to talk to you about Lyles, however. He sounds like he might be a relative.
I guess you don't look like evil fairies, leastways none I've ever heard of. So Lyles might be your brother.
I don't know, I never knew my father, and my mother never mentioned a twin, but when I was taken captive in Krondor, a few of my men who were guarding me kept asking about places I'd never been to, and about people I'd never met. At first I wanted to dismiss what they were saying, but then I got to thinking about some of the events that happened before the Battle of Sethanon. Someone tried to slip in a double for Prince Arutha. Maybe the Moradhel are repeating their old strategies.
This is all very interesting, but I haven't had a bite to eat. Do you think you could spare something for me?
I'm going to pack our rations that are yours, providing you tell me a little more about this Lyles.
Last I saw of him, he was heading toward Lytton. Said something about wanting to meet the gentleman there. More than likely he'll be staying away from the main roads. Try as he might, he does have a tendency to get into trouble now and then again.
Thank you, miss. Watch out for yourself. James cleared his throat. Glancing up from the business of cleaning his fingernails with a boot knife, the man regarded them frostily. Yeah, it sounds like the same shit. Yeah, we'll get some good rest in the room. Someone stole our sovereigns. The Knightmaster smiled nervously. You understand that nothing that the establishment can't be held responsible. The fuck? How much money did you steal, you son of a bitch? Doesn't look like that much. Alright, so we've learned that James might have a twin brother. Heading back. Little fucking plague village. The name of the signpost is long worn away. It's another riddle box. It asks no questions, but demands many answers. Don't knock it until you are ready to see what waits on the other side. It asks no questions but demands many answers. It asks no questions but demands many answers. Don't knock it until you are ready to see what's on the other side. A knocker. It's a door knocker. Don't knock it until you're ready to see what's on the other side. Come on, you can do better than that. There's not enough room. Come on, it's an herbal pack. I mean, if you're not healing, well, you kind of don't need to, so. Do a quick save there. Preoccupation has dulled the senses. Whereas if someone had thrown water over him during a pleasant dream, James grabbed Cora's soldier. Don't move! There's something very not right about the ground before us. And then, stay. I mean, that makes it out of order, no? Sure does. These graphics are they're too intense for my computer. I think I need to increase the cycles in DOSBox. If there is a trap, there is a... Whoa, shit! Yeah, I want to try opening it now. We just took a fireball to the dome piece. Looks like it ate up more stamina than anything. Get that frost protection. Looks like it does eventually wear off. We don't really use the crossbow that much, so that stuff doesn't really come into much use. They were being watched. Unsure where their observers were located, James wheeled about just as a figure emerged from behind the trees. I got a little bit of that action myself. Skyfire! Oh, I hate it when I do stupid clicks. Alright, so getting our ass kicked, not good. I'm gonna try using some of that shit. And some strength. These guys are tough. We gotta buff up a little bit. Can't sneak up on them. They're never out here. And he's still missing like a dumbass. That fucker went down. Guy's got to be wounded as shit. Fuck, man. Better off just defending shit. Crossbow that son of a bitch. Oh, you know we're gonna... Wait, why is Owen dying? Poisoned, you son of a bitch. Well, this is a predicament. I can't... How do I get to my fucking inventory and use my cure poison shit? He's too weak. He ain't gonna be able to do shit. Fucking motherfucker. Alright, we're doing it again. So far, it's going very well in my favor. I don't think I've been poisoned. I got one guy that ran off. This guy here is taking a beating. I'd rather let him run away. You ain't all getting away. Hey, dickhead. Where the fuck do you think you're going? That went much better. Ah, got that poison arrow. Those are pretty nice. Might have to gank-a-link those. How are we doing on rations? We look like we're doing just fine. Thifel's bird migrations. Psalms of Dala. What does this do? The illuminations inside the book depicted a variety of scenes. A man blocking a sword thrust, the goddess Dala watching over men on the field of battle, mercenaries kneeling in front of the temple of Dala near High Castle. Overall, the text looked more like a religious tract than a manual on battle. Apparently, this increases our defense. Essentially a book of prayers. Most on the Psalms dealt with the mythology surrounding the defender goddess and her frequent clashes with the war god, Taithonaka. It advised which prayers should be said upon awaking, which should be used before sleeping, before eating, before entering inns, and more importantly, which should be mouthed before entering battle, so that the defender goddess would add her favor to the faithful's ability to defend him or herself. It also mentioned in passing that the goddess would also lend her favor to those that drank the Dalatella milk sometimes sold by her followers. You don't wave off the Psalms of Dala, bitch. You take that fucking book and you read it, sir. I'll punch you right in your face. Yeah, we know what the book does. I guess you can only read it every once in a while. I'm still not sure how fucking books work. This one is the Tithe Bird one is supposed to give +5 for everything. Didn't work on him. No, you goober. Yeah, I don't understand books. Sorry, folks. I thought I used that on them already, but apparently the Book of Defense, hey, got 5% out of it. I'm not sure why they have 99 uses. Maybe someone else can fill me in. But hey, I think we all just got some good buffs. That's going to be it for this video, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time with more Betrayal at Krondor.